Imagine the you are sitting with your friends. Someone just got a new tattoo. Another person is showing a full sleeve. Your social media is filled with fresh ink everywhere, and then there is you, completely clean skin, no tattoos at all. People look at you and say, why not? Are you scared? Do you have commitment issues? But here is something most people never realize. If you have never gotten a tattoo, there is a strong chance your personality is actually rare. This is not about being better or worse. This is about how your mind works differently. The first thing that makes you different is how you think about the future. Most people make decisions based on what feels good right now. If they like something in the moment, they go for it. But your mind does something unusual. You think far ahead, not just 1 year, not just 5 years, sometimes decades ahead. You imagine your future self. You ask yourself, will I still like this later? Will I still be the same person? Will this still represent me? This ability is known as future self-awareness. It means you are not only living for the present version of yourself, you are also considering the person you will become, and this changes everything. Because a tattoo is not just a design to you, it is a permanent decision, a decision that follows you through every phase of life. And your brain treats that seriously. Research shows that people who can clearly imagine their future are less likely to make impulsive decisions. They pause, they evaluate, they think deeply. That is exactly what you are doing. But there is another side to this. Sometimes this deep thinking turns into hesitation. Sometimes you delay decisions not because they are wrong, but because you want to be absolutely sure. So the real question becomes, are you wise or are you too cautious? Now let us go deeper. The second trait is even more interesting. You do not believe in a fixed identity. Many people think of themselves as something stable. They believe, this is who I am and this is who I will always be. You do not see yourself that way. You see yourself as someone who is constantly changing, constantly growing, constantly evolving. What you like today might not matter tomorrow. What defines you now might feel irrelevant later. Because of this, you hesitate to make permanent statements about yourself, and that is exactly what a tattoo is. A tattoo is a statement. It says, this is important to me, this defines me, this is part of who I am. But you are not ready to lock yourself into one version of yourself. This mindset is called a fluid identity. It means you are open to change. You are open to growth. You are open to becoming someone completely different in the future. There is something powerful about that, but there is also a hidden risk. Sometimes this openness can turn into avoidance instead of growing. You might simply be avoiding commitment instead of evolving. You might be delaying decisions. The line between growth and avoidance is very thin. Now let us talk about another important trait. You are highly aware of how you are perceived. This does not simply mean you care about what people think. It goes much deeper than that. Your mind is constantly analyzing, how will this decision affect my image? How will people see me? Will this impact my future opportunities? Will this change how I am treated? This is called impression management. It means you are consciously shaping how you appear to the world, and the tattoo challenges that control. Because once it is there, you cannot easily change it. It becomes part of your identity in the eyes of others, and for someone like you, that lack of control matters. You want flexibility, you want options, you want to be able to adapt. But again, there is a deeper question. Is this awareness a strength, or is it fear of judgment? Some people are strategic. They think ahead and protect their future. Others are restricted by anxiety. They hold themselves back because they are afraid. The difference is not always obvious. Now let us explore something that most people completely ignore. You might have a minimalist mindset, not just in your lifestyle, but in your psychology. You believe that what truly matters exists internally. You do not feel the need to display everything on the outside. You do not need symbols to prove meaning. You do not need permanent marks to validate your feelings. You carry your identity within yourself. You carry your memories within yourself. You carry your values within yourself. This is known as an intrinsic identity orientation. It means your sense of self does not depend on external expression. You do not need the world to see it, because you already feel it. Think about the you do not need a tattoo to remember someone important. You do not need ink to hold on to a meaningful moment. Your mind already does that. Your emotions already store that, and for you, that is enough. There is something quiet but powerful about that way of thinking in a world that constantly pushes people to express everything, to show everything, to prove everything. Choosing not to can be its own form of strength, but once again, it depends on if you are choosing it consciously. It is powerful. If you are avoiding it out of fear, it becomes limitation. Here is one of the deepest traits. You process meaning internally. Some people express their emotions outwardly. They show it, they display it, they turn it into something visible. But you do something different. You experience things deeply inside. You feel moments fully. You absorb them. You store them. Internally, you do not need a physical reminder. Because The experience itself is an augur. Memories are not weak, they do not fade easily. In fact, sometimes they become even stronger without external symbol speckouts. They are processed on a deeper level. So, now we come to an important realization. Not getting a tattoo is not just a simple choice. It reflects how you think, how you see yourself, how you experience the world, and most importantly, how you make decisions. But this is only half the story. Backhouse. There are deeper layers to this psychology, and in the next part we're going to explore something even more surprising: hidden traits that almost nobody talks about. Difference between intelligence and firth. Silent rebellion behind your choice, and why some of the deepest people you will ever meet never get tattoos. Now let us go even deeper, because what you have seen so far is only the surface. There are hidden psychological patterns behind your choice that most people never even think about. First hidden truth is the sometimes not getting a tattoo is not about fear, it is about control. You value control over your life. You like having the ability to change, to adapt, to evolve without restrictions. A tattoo represents permanence, and permanence limits flexibility. For someone like you, flexibility matters more. You want the freedom to redefine yourself again and again. This does not mean you are indecisive. It means you are aware of how much you can change, and you respect that. No, here is something that might surprise you. Some of the most emotionally deep people never get tattoos. This sounds strange at first because society often connects tattoos with meaning and depth, but the reality is different. It is not about what you show, it is about what you feel. You might feel things more intensely than others. You might connect with people more deeply. You might experience moments in a more powerful way, but instead of expressing it outwardly, you keep it within you. Do not need to turn your emotions into symbol speckouts. Your internal world is already rich enough. This creates a quiet kind of strength, a strength that does not need attention, a strength that does not need validation. Oh, let us talk about something even more interesting: rebellion. Most people think rebellion means doing something bold, something visible, something that stands out, but real rebellion is often invisible. In a world where everyone is trying to express themselves loud, like using silence becomes powerful. In a world where everyone is marking their identity, using to remain unmarked becomes unique. You are not following the crowd, but you are also not trying to prove anything. You are simply choosing your own path, and that is rare. Now here comes a difficult truth: not everyone who avoids tattoos is doing it for the same reason. Some people are thoughtful, some people are strategic, some people are deeply aware, but some people are afraid of regret, afraid of judgment, afraid of making the wrong decision. So, how do you know the difference? It comes down to one thing: intention. Are you choosing consciously, or are you avoiding unconscious life? You are choosing consciously. It reflects clarity. If you are avoiding unconsciously, it reflects fear. And being honest about this is important, because the psychology behind your choice changes completely based on this. Now let us explore one final idea: the absence of action can reveal just as much as action itself. Most people